Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the August 7th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jake Hughes, and alongside me, the old man, Kevin Hughes. Kevin, the old man, how you doing?
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties are being had because I saw you pointing to your ears, assuming you couldn't hear me, but I can see my thing going up.
You're perfect.
I always am. That's, How the hell are you doing today, old man?
I am doing well. What had happened with my technical difficulties, I went to check YouTube and I didn't mute it, so I was still hearing the music while you were talking, and I was like,
oh, that's got to be a little confusing.
How is that possible? Jake did something. He pushed the wrong button again.
No, it wasn't me this time, just you.
Was it you this time? It's all good.
What a week it was in the CFL. And I got to say,
football games this week?
It's going to be shocking to you. There was 4 in the CFL this week.
No.
And on top of that, there might have been some NFL preseason action. And you make that face, for those listening, the old man made a scrunched up face. That's how the NFL fans feel about preseason NFL. It's just bleh. There's no need for it. But as a lot of you guys are aware who are tuning in, hopefully not for the first time, but if you are, welcome. Please hit that like button, subscribe to us.
And let us know, put in the chat, let us know where you're from.
Yeah, because we love to interact with you guys live on the stream. And
just don't suck or we won't talk about it.
Yeah. We have one rule here, don't suck. If you suck, we won't listen to you. However, where you're from, tell us, because this week has been full of upsets, full of craziness, and it is my distinct honor to do these every single week. Tell us who your top 3 are.
And if you're the Smurf Mafia,
we'll get to it. We'll get to it very shortly because I have a lot to say about the Lions Winnipeg game. However, I do just a little bit.
Okay.
I do want to say that.
Let's talk about these guys first. What do you think?
Hey, you almost got it right on the third try this time.
No, it was a second.
Well, no, because you pointed to the door.
It was the second. I went.
See, I saw you put up the wrong hand and then point at the door and then to the flag. So we're getting there. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Canucks, because I always like to throw just one little splash in of the other team that we follow here.
We should call this Jake's Nerd segment.
Well, this isn't really a nerd segment. This is just me speculating and being bored. This is just me wanting to talk about hockey, and there's nothing to talk about. So, Carlson got traded. I'm pulling up the full trade here because it's quite a mouthful. There's 3 teams involved.
It's like 55,000 players.
Yeah. So the Penguins receive Carlson, Pitlick, Hamaliuk, and a 2026 third-round pick from San Jose. San Jose received 2024 first-round pick from Pittsburgh. Granlund, Hoffman, and Jan Ruda. And the Les Habitants received a 2025 Pittsburgh second-round pick. Jeff Petrie, Casey DeSmith, and Lagrage. All in all, this saves the Sharks, I think, by my quick calculations here, about $5 million worth of cap space, because they did retain a little bit on Carlson, but they did also have to take cap back to make everything work. And that leaves a nice little juicy hole, in my opinion, because there was already rumors before for Tyler Myers to be moved to San Jose once either September 1st or September 15th, depending on your sources, once that payout of his bonus goes through. Because once that payout of his bonus goes through, he'll be only paid him $1 million cash for the whole year, but his cap hit will still be the $6 million because it's a $5 million signing bonus, dependent on when that is set out. So we could have news as of next month on if Chaos Draft is going to be with us anymore.
If, and it's a big if, there is a hockey god. If there is a hockey god.
Well, if there's a hockey god,
he doesn't let.
I was going to say, they haven't listened to your prayers for the last 50 odd years, almost 60 years.
Can I talk now?
Yep.
Mr. Interruptitis. If there's a hockey god, we will not have Jake Myers come.
Jake Myers. I'm Jake. Tyler Myers.
Tyler Myers. Where did I get Jake Myers? There's a Jake
Myers. Jake Meyer, the quarterback for Calgary.
Mayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
a Jake Myers in my head. Weird. Anyway, Tyler Myers. If there's a hockey god, we will not have a Tyler Myers Chaos Giraffe playing for the Canucks come 2023-2024 season. But
it's a long shot. I hope it happens.
What do we get in return?
Cap. Give me a 3rd round pick. Honestly, like that's how depreciated his value is.
And how much are you having to retain?
If you're doing that, I think you retain maybe $1 million. Unless you're getting my brain is not working right now. Unless you're getting a top 4 player back, I think you're going to have to retain. If you're getting a top 4 player back who has more upside or is younger than Tyler Myers, then I think you might even need to put a sweetener in to put Myers into there.
Yeah.
However, San Jose's on the rebuild, so they might be willing to take Tyler Myers for that 1 year at full pop.
Who did San Jose get? They went to the Carlson went to the Penguins, did he not? Is that correct?
Yes. I'm really glad you listen when I speak. Carlson,
I was busy.
The Sharks got a 1st round pick, Granlund, Hoffman, and Jan Ruda. But there's 3 teams and 9 players, 3 picks involved. So it was a huge trade, and it was really nice to see get done.
Well, I saw that it was like double digits.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy crack. That's crazy.
And Ron talking about the Penguins, not liking the fact that they're a really old team. And I was actually seeing something. They're going to be the oldest team defensively in the NHL's history, from my recollection of what the tweet said, or X.
Oh, really?
Said,
oh, wow.
Is that like their youngest defenseman that's going to be starting? More than likely, crazier things have happened where a guy's supposed to start but doesn't. It's going to be like the youngest guy's 29 and the oldest guys are going to be like 35, 36. So it's a problem.
I believe Ron is tuning in from Calgary, if I'm correct, right, Ron? I'm pretty sure he's from Calgary.
And the big thing with that, is you get a lot of players, especially later in their career, who want to go chase a cup or go play with one of the greats. And Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, how many more years do they have left?
Well, yeah, that's why they're such an old team, right?
Yeah. And as Pittsburgh, Kyle Dubas, who named himself. Did you hear about this? Sorry, this was not on my radar to talk about, but Ron got us onto the Penguins. So Kyle Dubas, former GM of the Leafs, sure is in YYC, says Ron, but the Kyle Dubas, hired by Pittsburgh to be the VP of Hockey Operations or President of Hockey Operations, delayed his search so long that he then just decided to name himself GM of the team as well. He is now GM and President of Hockey Operations.
Yeah. They kind of go together.
They do, which it's usually not an issue. However, it seems weird when you've brought in a person specifically to be your president of hockey operations, because usually you want that separation of GM and president of hockey operations. And then they're just like, you know what, I'll do both instead.
Yeah, why not?
Pay me twice.
Yeah, give me
But
more.
we still have months to go until hockey. We've got a month and a week, I think, until the Young Stars start in Penticton, which I still would like to sneak down to. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but it is what it is.
Ron saying he understood that he was the GM, that is where his recent experience is. So
it definitely is, and he's a great GM. I mean, look at the Toronto Maple Leafs team, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. That's kind of our hockey talk, unless you have anything more in the hockey world to talk about.
Is the season started yet?
Nope.
Okay.
We got time.
Moving on.
Before we move on, I have things in an order for a specific reason, old man. We have a rundown. We do the rundown in order. There is a specific reason for this. Ladies and gentlemen, the old man's trying to jump ahead to talk about the Lions because we're 10 minutes in and he's getting antsy to talk about the kicking that we took by the Blue Bombers. But before you do that, I want you guys, please check out hughsports.ca. Most of the weeks we'll put out a couple articles, 3 or 4 articles a week. Some weeks we'll put out 1 or 2. Basically, as much as we can handle writing, because neither of us are writers, we like to talk about things and try to put it into words, and it helps us. If you go to the site,
maybe we should do like live, like just short vlogs. I'll call them
like live blogs or vlogs.
Vlogs, like instead of writing an article, do a vlog.
Yeah, I mean we can definitely do that. We can talk about that off.
I just like throwing things at you on air when you have that.
The thing, like something like that, it's so easy because the big thing for you, if you're going to do it, turn your phone sideways.
What's this wee shit?
Turn your phone sideways.
I'll turn my phone sideways, all right. Shine it up nice and pretty.
And stick that bitch right up.
Your candy ass.
However, if you do like what we do here, you can also check out on hughsports.ca a huge selection of irrational fan gear that I'm waiting for things to pop up on screen here. You can see we have our loved and beloved Smurf Mafia. We actually just made a shirt for that because someone who bought the hoodie before reached out to me and said, "Hey, I love the hoodie, but do you have this in t-shirt?" I said, "No." I said, "No, but give me a day and it'll be up." We have Calgary, we have Edmonton, we have BC, of course. We have Ottawa. We have Saskatchewan.
Edmonton?
We do have Edmonton.
Didn't you do up one for Toronto?
We do have one up for Toronto. I haven't posted it yet.
Okay.
Because I'm working with some design. It's a technical thing on my side that I'm working on, trying to make it work.
Speaking of the Edmonton one, on the Edmonton one, I don't know if we can continue doing it because you have the paper bag on it. And apparently the Edmonton Elks, formerly the Edmonton Eskimos, don't like people in bags. They actually kick them out of their stadium.
But it's not.
Now, hold on here. No, this is a team that is bagging people. We couldn't give tickets away for these games. Literally couldn't give them away. We had 5 sets of tickets. Nobody wanted them. And they're kicking people out of the stadium for no reason other than he was wearing a paper bag.
If you look at their stats, they're actually getting more fans in than they did last year and the year before COVID, when they actually had a team that was good.
You know why?
Because they're giving them away. When you give a section of free tickets away at the first home game, so you're paying, say whatever section it is, you're paying $50 to $80 a ticket for cheap seats, $100 for really good seats. Okay, so you're doubling my tickets. Like, you know what I mean? No matter how much you pay, I'm now paying half that price.
Well, and they keep getting free tickets until they win a home game.
Yeah.
It wasn't just
Is it just that section, or does it change every game?
I don't know.
That'd be something I'd like to know.
I think it's the same people.
So they just have tickets. So they just have half or one ticket worth of season tickets for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Might as well. Also, if you're watching right now on YouTube, first off, thank you so much. It means the world that you guys take the time out of your busy Mondays to come listen to us ramble about sports. Secondly, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment. Ron in chat, I appreciate it because the algorithm gods likes it when people are interacting with us when we're live. Even if you just say, hey guys, I'm from Vancouver, I'm from Regina, I'm from Smurf Mafia headquarters. I don't care where you're from. And again, we say a lot of things. 90% of them are in jest. We have fun. We're here to have fun. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on podcast format, hit the subscribe button, 5 stars, share with your friends, talk about us. If you have anything that you want us to do better, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on X or Facebook. We are on Facebook on a lot of CFL groups. The old man has all sorts of ideas, apparently, because he's pointing to himself.
I have something to say and I don't want to interrupt.
It means the world to us to be able to do that because, again, the likes, the subscribes, they go a long way. What would you like to say, old man?
X. You can't call it X. I downloaded an app today.
Yeah.
Who's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm. It's gone already, but I did see it. It is an X, but it's
celebrity. That's their thing.
See, when I see someone do this, I think of Degeneration X.
If I see someone, see, it's right there. See, it's X.
Yep, but it's not the stylized
X. For Twitter, I think it's celebrity messaging me about my upcoming cruises. But no,
which I think we should talk about in September next month. You're going to be missing in action for a couple of podcasts.
Oh, the whole bunch of podcasts, actually.
You're only gone for 16 days, so that would only be 2 podcasts.
3 I'm going to be gone for.
Wow. He told me he was only gone 16 days, and he just happens to line them up all on Mondays.
If you got the 18th, the 25th, and I won't be in any condition to talk to anybody on the 2nd.
On the 2nd. Okay, so, on the 25th, we're going to try to stay in contact while you're on the cruise because it's in Europe. You might be up. You might be a little bit drunk. You might be waking up to have coffee.
That'd be fun.
And if the internet's good enough, I'd love to bring you on for a quick, how's Europe? Have you been watching football at all? And
I could do I could do the 18th maybe too, because I'll just be in Barcelona on the 18th.
Barcelona, yes.
Yes. I could try. No guarantees, though.
No guarantees, but what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to find a couple co-hosts to fill in.
That's a good idea. You'll probably need 2 or 3 just to fill in for me.
Well, I mean, I don't need to fill in your actual seat. I just need to fill in so I have someone to talk to.
Bitch.
Boom. Also, last week, in 3 podcasts from now, the 28th of August, we're having a very special guest.
Exciting.
To talk about something that is outside of the realm of what me and the old man know, but it's still within the sports realm.
Hey,
and
I drink and know things.
He drinks and knows things. However, we don't know a lot about this. And I don't want to be spoiled. I don't want to give spoilers. If you think you know what it is, leave a comment. Leave a comment. Go to our Facebook. Leave a comment there. Let us know what you think it is. Rod Peterson available. You know what? That would be the greatest fill-in hosts if I could convince Rod to do a late night show. Hell, I wouldn't even do that. I'll talk to Rod and be like, Rod, we can pre-tape it. When are you free? Let's pre-tape it. Hello, Nancy Jackson. Mother, how are you doing?
I haven't said anything mean about her this week, have I?
I know, it's kind of shocking. But let's jump into something we both want to talk about and be mean about.
Yeah, speaking of being mean.
The BC Lions go into Winnipeg and just get absolutely demolished every step of the way. Do you want to go first? Because I have a lot to say. So if you start to talk about what you thought of the game, I will interject.
Winnipeg just out-fucking played us. I mean, it was pretty simple. Yep. They out-coached us. They outplayed us offensively, defensively, special teams.
I want to step in on that.
They literally kicked our butt from start to finish.
Yep.
As soon as they threw that first pass, in my head, I went, oh, no.
Okay. So, people who've been watching the show a long time know, I played DB for high school. If we got beat that badly on the first pass of the game, you know what we'd be doing? You'd be sending 2 guys. You'd be sending less rush because you need to. You have 2 safeties, one for the left side, one for the right side, and they play deep. No one's behind you. No one's
No
allowed
one.
to be behind you.
Twice.
So, and again, first play of the game, okay, it happens. There needs to be adjustments made. And I look at Ryan Phillips, and they showed him multiple times on the sidelines where he just had his hands up in the air, clipboard up, with like, what's going on?
No, he was doing the touchdown symbol for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Then halftime came, and I was like, okay, you know what? I've seen, and I texted you this, I've seen bigger comebacks from worse teams.
Yes.
Because the Lions do have a good team. Without Vernon Adams, it was going to be a lot harder. But we know what this defense can do, and we've talked about it a lot on the show. This is probably one of the best defenses we have ever seen.
Best defense in the league right now. Yeah, Bomber fans, yeah, you won, blah, 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 blah.
But
still the best defense in the league.
There wasn't even I don't feel there was even an adjustment made at halftime.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't.
It off, Jake. Never, you know me, I never turn off a Lions game. I turn that shit off in the third quarter.
Ron nails it on the head. As soon as adversity hits, they crumble. And the defensive backs crumbled. Gary Peters, who has been and in my opinion, one of the defensive MOPs quietly for this BC Lions team, was beat every step of the way. You'd see a wide shot and Peters would be trying to jam when he's getting beat 4 out of 5 plays.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to stay back off the ball? You know what's not going to burn you? If they start throwing 5-yard quick hits.
Exactly.
Because you're going to hit them enough that those wide receivers are going to eventually drop one.
Yeah.
And instead, they tried to keep playing man. They kept trying to jam, and there was nothing done from Ryan Phillips on the defensive side. Now, Kalaros and the Mike O'Shea or whatever O'Shea and Winnipeg do deserve a lot of respect for this, because coming into it, there wasn't a lot of teams that I would say could do this to the Lions defense other than the Argonauts.
Now, we're on a short week. I'm going to use excuses. We're on a short week. Winnipeg,
bless you. Winnipeg was off for 13 days.
Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Winnipeg had 13 days off, so they had a lot of time to study. And hey, they credit to them. They saw something and they took huge advantage of it. My worry is all the other teams saw what happened.
But you say that. We thought the same thing when Toronto took advantage of us. And no team was able to figure it out.
Yeah.
True. So is it just that there's elite quarterbacks that can figure it out and elite play calling? And Ryan Phillips has a really good base strategy, and as soon as he gets overwhelmed, he doesn't know what to do? Because we weren't able to get pressure. We weren't able to, I don't think there was there wasn't even a sniff of Betts getting a sack.
No.
There wasn't a sniff of interception. Again, the passes were all over the heads of our DBs being beaten. It was embarrassing.
It was. I'm hoping that they have this full week and I hope they're embarrassed and I hope they're pissed off, because now we play at home next week against the Stamps,
who are coming off, we'll talk about next, are coming off a great win. But
we have to come out mad. We have to come out pissed off.
We have to come out
and we have to come out and say, man, I'm embarrassed.
We have to come out with Vernon Adams Jr. Because no offense to Dane Evans and no offense to Dominique Davis, they both look like third-string quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Davis apparently got hurt. I didn't see the play where he got hurt. Dominique Davis did not look like a starter, and we talked about it when we first started the season. We had 3 quarterbacks who had starting reps in the CFL. Well, now we have 1 great quarterback and 2 guys who would probably be second or third strings on any team, including Edmonton. That's how
Yeah.
upsetting the how disappointing that game was for BC.
Now my brain doesn't work quite the way it used to. Am
Yep.
I right in saying Vernon Adams was dressed for the second half?
Yes, he was. So
He was on the roster, just not dressed, but he
yeah,
came
so
out
he's
in the second half dressed.
because the reason for that was that Dane Evans wasn't on the sidelines and they didn't know if he could continue.
Yeah,
So
he hurt himself. Yeah,
you need to have a second quarterback dressed.
right.
You could have him not dressed, but then why use a roster spot on him?
Yeah.
So the only logical thing, and he was stretching coming out of the half, and they showed it, and I messaged both you and Mother about it, and was like, "Holy shit! Like, why is he in gear?" And
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
was
have to
kind of
do
like, what the
so,
hell?
again, if you're going to do that, why not for the fourth quarter put him in and see how he is?
Yeah.
It's concerning to me because that to me means there's no way he's ready to actually start. There's no way he's 100% to start on Saturday.
You don't think so?
I don't. If you're not willing to put him in a game like that where you're getting demolished, just to get him some game speed reps with contact, how confident are you in his abilities
Yeah,
right
it'd
now?
be.
Like of him being healthy.
If he wasn't scratched, so he's obviously taking reps of some kind at practice last week.
But he wasn't dressed. There was no intention for him to ever put on pads.
But he was on the roster. He was the fourth string quarterback on the roster.
Third string quarterback.
No, fourth. Oh, third. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, third. Yeah. I'm thinking fourth. No, him. Then our second string,
Himself,
our third string,
our second string, third string, and then him again.
Yeah. Come on now. Catch up to me. So I think he can get ready this week if he's healthy.
If he's healthy,
it's one of those now. It's like if we would have won last week, if we beat the Bombers, we can sit him another week.
Or even if it was close, if it was a 46-50 game and Winnipeg was just able to, and we're having the same discussions about defense, but the offense was able to carry it.
Yes.
Completely difference. But
then we're having a completely different conversation. But we need him. So I'm hoping that he's ready to go. But like I say, every member of that team, whether you're defensive line, offensive line, special team, long snapper, short
fourth
snapper,
string water
boy, guy who freaking carries the flag. Every person in this organization needs to look in the mirror and say, it's on me. That loss is on me. And mean it and come out pissed off. I want to see an angry, hateful Lions team come Saturday when they take on the Stampeders. And I don't just want them to beat them. I want to destroy them.
Yeah. And we know, we've watched a lot of it. We always talk about it. Stampeders and Lions games always get feisty. We've seen fights in the parking lot after the games. We've seen all sorts of different crazy stuff.
Which reminds me, before I forget, I was supposed to text you and I forgot to text you. So I'm going to say it on the air so all our viewers in Calgary can pay attention too. There's going to be a watch party down at Sharks Club back down south this time. They take turns. And on Saturday night, whether you're a Stamp fan or a Lions fan, show up. Wear your colors. It should be a fun night. We being the Rod Peterson Show, and now the HSP are gonna kind of team up and really promote the hell out of this one.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. I'm super excited for Saturday now because I totally didn't have plans. But I will be there in my gear. So let's jump to the Calgary game because I think there's a lot of discussion to be had here about a lot of different things. But
I'm paying attention.
The Argonauts come into Calgary. You were at the game. And lose by 13 points.
You know what's really weird about this game?
Sorry,
Oh,
I just
go
want
ahead.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Argonauts scored 7. Calgary scored 20.
You know what's really weird about this game? Being there, of course, you don't hear the you don't have the play-by-play. Nobody around us. It wasn't just us, but nobody around us knew that Chad Kelly was hurt.
Yeah, because I turned on the game a little bit late because I totally forgot it was on, to be completely honest. And I turn it on, and the first thing I see is Duke's out there, and I was like, okay, like it's the end of the second, so it might be just because it's halftime. They don't want to risk anything, like what Bo Levi did. And so I messaged you, and I was like, hey, like what's going on? And you're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, okay, and maybe it's not just McMahon, but I go to McMahon, so I can only comment it. There's not a lot of play-by-play talk from the in-game hosts.
Well, there used to be.
There used to be.
The gentleman that had been for 40 plus years, however long he was, I'm sorry, I feel really bad because I can't remember.
Dan Carson used to be a host on Country 105 as well. However, a couple weeks ago, he suddenly passed, quite shockingly to many people. And he did the home game for the Stampeders to start the season. The Stampeders left, like when we're away, and he passed that week. So I don't blame the Stampeders for not having anyone who's ready to fill in those shoes right away.
But the guy there got there, I don't know, usually they'll say, and now playing quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts, Dukes, whatever his first name is.
But it's not just this year for the Stampeders. And I mean, they've had all sorts of issues. The stadium, we've talked about it. We're not going to beat this horse dead. But
why would you want to beat a horse dead?
Well, because we keep talking about how terrible McMahon Stadium is and the audio experience and the fan
experience. But you shouldn't beat a horse.
Well, I mean, they have
not the horse's fault.
Well, I'm blaming the horse.
Wow. Okay, everybody, do not call PETA. Jake was joking. He loves horses.
Who's PETA? Is that the guy from the Hunger Games? The big thing I want to talk about is, I mean, Calgary took advantage, but Dukes is not this is his first year in the league.
Let's face it. If Chad Kelly doesn't get hurt, the Stamps don't win this game. I was at the game.
I don't know that. I didn't get to see how he was playing. So
there was so many overthrown balls, badly thrown balls, balls behind people, balls into nowhere land. You could tell this kid is just a rookie. He was overwhelmed. And the Lions took advantage of it. I mean, the Stamps took advantage of it, and good on them.
Well, just because you were cheering for them doesn't mean they're the Lions now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was fun to watch. I love the fact that Calgary took advantage of it and won, because now there's no undefeated teams. It's 6-1, 6-2, and 6-2. Top 3 teams. And again, Jake's not paying attention anymore.
I'm 100%
not looking down. He's looking at his phone, texting away.
Yeah, and I'm still able to have a better conversation with
you're young
than you are. You made me lose my entire train of thought, so I had a rebuttal to what you were saying.
That was awesome.
Overthrown balls, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is something that I know was brought up. I think it was brought up on the Rod Peterson show. It might have been on Sakaris and Price. Do you believe that the amount of injuries we're seeing to quarterbacks has anything to do with the non-contact practices?
Nah, it's just one of those things. I mean, every year quarterback.
You're telling me every single team has to play their backup every single year?
No, I didn't. You didn't let me finish. You cut me off in mid-sentence. Every year, quarterbacks go down. Has there been more this year? Yeah, maybe. But I think it has more to do with the hard hitting, not the lack of contact in practices.
I disagree completely.
Okay, you're allowed to. You're allowed to be wrong.
You've never seen this many QBs go down in the same amount of time?
Yes, we have. Come on. That's just a silly statement.
Name a time when you've had BC, Edmonton doesn't count, Calgary's fine, Winnipeg. So there's 3 teams
Fine.
out of the entire league that have not had to start their backup due to
Montreal's
injuries.
fine. Montreal's fine. So there's like 4. Montreal Fajardo has been number 1, and he's still number 1. Toronto just happened this week. Bo should never have been playing, in my opinion. So you can throw him off to the side because he can't get hit in practice. He'd break. He should be playing. He should be playing flag football now.
It's not about the quarterbacks getting hit, because in practice, quarterbacks don't get hit. It's about the linemen. It's about the receivers. It's blocking. You're not. Look at the O-lines, and we've talked about it before. And I really want to give benefit to the defensive side, because I think the defensive line and linebackers are very underrated in the CFL. But when you're seeing this many sacks and this many quarterbacks getting hit game in and game out, how can you not look at it and say, well, maybe it's because the linemen are practicing at half speed every day at practice. Then they get into a game and it takes them a series to get into it.
But so are the defensive line. They're doing the same thing.
You have hit dummies. You have drills that you can run where you can still make hitting plays where the offensive line, you play patty cake or you hit. Drill.
There's no cognitive way to prove what you're saying is reality. It's an opinion, and I disagree with it. I think it's been no contact practices. How long has that been going on?
I think the year before COVID it started.
Okay, so why haven't we had this happen in previous years? You just said it's never happened before in any other year. Well, last year Rourke got knocked out.
Yeah. You won.
Well, I'm sure there's other teams. I just pay attention.
I would love to do this, but there's not enough stats, because the CFL I love the CFL, but they don't have the historical stats that the NFL does or anything else. But I'd love to go back and see before the hitting practices got changed, after the hitting practices got changed, and the amount of injuries per game that happened.
Yeah, it could be.
You might know people who are able to pull that sort of information.
I'll see if I can get that info.
Yeah. So, I mean, Argos should have won that game if Chad Kelly stays healthy, but Calgary took full advantage.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no matter what we talk about, Calgary needs to there needs to be some respect put on the Calgary Stampeders, because they saw there was an opening and they took it. Now Dukes is, again, a first year in the CFL, and it showed many times. But you still need, again, there was still pressure brought onto them.
Yeah.
What day was this? Was this Friday?
That was Friday.
Saturday was the Owls walking into Hamilton, winning by another 13 points. Wow, lots of 13-point games.
But it was why did we turn this game off? We had something
because it was Saturday and we were watching SummerSlam.
Oh, that's right. And the Ticats were winning. I thought for sure the Ticats had this one wrapped up.
And there was three or four interceptions.
Yeah.
By Hamilton at the half, and I think Alouettes had 2 or 3 interceptions as well.
Yeah, but they came back. They won.
And I go back to it. Another backup quarterback not able to close out a game. Again, Cody Fajardo able to close out that game. Go into halftime, make those adjustments.
Yep.
Again, definitely. We didn't see the game, and I saw some commentary on Twitter and some of the highlights, but
from what I hear, it was a good second half.
Yeah.
Came back. I mean, Fajardo does nothing but win. He had one bad season in Regina last year, and everybody wrote him off, told him to go home. He was useless. He took it to heart. He got emotional. He said some things he probably would like to take back, but maybe not. I'm not speaking for him. And now this year he's come out and says, bring it, bitches.
And personally, I'd love it because,
Yeah.
and I mean, we all know those who follow the CFL know the Rider fans go crazy, and their media is like no other for the Riders.
They're cultish.
It's like, well, it's very similar to what it's like for a hockey player in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal in the NHL. You don't have off seasons. You can't have a genuine moment or slip in an interview because they'll remember it and they'll continuously bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still never understood why Fajardo got a bad rap in Saskatchewan. One bad
season and a horrible offensive line. I say it's because of no contact. That's what I'm saying. But
no, that old line was bad, even if they were able to practice with contact.
I could have got through them.
Yeah. And I mean, so what did they do this year? They beefed up their O-line.
But the reason Saskatchewan's media or fans are so like warped, and you have the new person calling, I was going to say the word, but the new person calling play-by-play on radio for the Stamps actually came out and tweeted today. Was it today or maybe yesterday? Yesterday, Mason Fine is the best QB2 in the CFL. And I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, dude, he went. He's won. If you count yesterday's game, he's one win, two losses,
he's been very
150
mediocre.
interceptions, 49,000 sacks. But that's the way they think in Regina. Yeah. It's, we have the best of everything. You all fucking suck.
Well, and the same thing has really spread to the Winnipeg, the Blue Bombers, and their entire organization, or their entire fan base.
Their fan base is just unreasonable. Talk about irrational fans. Holy crap.
Yeah,
holy crap.
They literally believe that they have a dynasty and that there's been no team better than them in the CFL ever. Hell, I'm pretty sure most of them would think in professional football.
Oh, yeah.
A better team than the Blue Bombers over the last 3 years.
Well, just because they kicked our ass, they literally came out in force and said, we're back and we're number one. It's like, shut up. You lost to Ottawa. You lost to us. You didn't score a touchdown against us the first time we played when we had our first string quarterback in. And come October 6th, you'll lose to us again.
Now, also, CFL. The CFL official power rankings came out today.
And I saw that.
You can go to Hughes Sports because I posted them to Hughes Sports because there is no goddamn bleeping way that you are telling me that the Blue Bombers, who again have lost to Ottawa, who have lost to BC,
and barely made it by the Riders,
are better than Toronto. I can understand an argument to put them ahead of BC after that last game, especially because if you look at point differential, especially in head-to-head matchups, I get it. However, now if we look at more in-depth things like starting quarterback, experience and starting quarterback, all sorts of stuff like that, you're going to have different opinions on things. But how the hell does the entire CFL have one power rankings backed up by no stats, might I add you? There's not an article to go with it. It's literally just a picture because the CFL refuses to invest in content marketing, which, and I showed you this. I showed you this on Saturday. I'm a content marketer. If you go onto the TuneIn radio app right now and you type in BC Lions, what do you see?
You see the Hughes Sports Podcast.
You see the official BC Lions podcast. You see the Lions Den podcast, which has been around for, I think, about 10 years.
Oh,
maybe
longer than
longer,
that, probably.
at least 10 years. And then you see a podcast that started in January. You know how we did that? By posting things, by being relevant, by constantly talking about things and marketing it.
And we're fun. I'll let me
We have
rephrase
fun.
that. Let me rephrase that. I'm fun. Jake's not fun. Oh,
God
Jake's
forbid
not
you have
fun. I am fun.
God forbid you have fun in sports.
Which reminds me.
Sorry, can we before we get into is it
No.
important or is it quick? Okay, go. It's important.
You were talking about no fun. Did you hear D says Jake is fun too? I don't know who this D person is, but I think you're paying this D person off. I was going to say
my hands are up, so you know it's not me this time.
So, did you hear the BC Lions players got fined for taking that picture in the, you know how in the end zone of Edmonton they have the outdoor furniture, and they went laid on it and took pictures? They got fined for that.
Not allowed to use props. But Hamilton can sit down and do duck duck goose, and that's fine.
And they could steal the camera from the camera guy.
Nope.
They did it. They didn't get fined.
Fines haven't been announced yet. They will be fined.
They better be fined.
They will be fined. It's fine. But let's
moving on.
We're good. Moving on to yesterday's game. A game I saw literally only the highlights of because I don't even know what I was doing yesterday, but I completely forgot there was a football game on.
We're not allowed to talk about what you were doing on air.
The Red Blacks. Just moving on. Red Blacks go into Saskatchewan Mosaic Stadium at Taylor Field and lose by a score of 24-26. And this game just looked
game.
What a crazy game! Just the highlights of this game, it looked fun.
It was a crazy ass game. I mean, in the last minute and a half, I think there was 3 field goals kicked in a minute and a half. They had time to get plays, move the ball down the field, and kick 3 field goals. Maybe 4. I think it was 3, though. Great. I mean, that is what the CFL is all about. That's why Jake gets so wound up when people leave with 4 minutes to go because they got to beat the traffic. Oh, my God. We got to go. Run. We got to beat the traffic. Everybody just relax. There is no traffic at McMahon Stadium. There's 50 people there, for fuck's sakes. Anyway.
Well, especially if you stay until the end of the game, then there's really no one there.
Exactly, because everybody left to beat the traffic. But no, it was a fun game. It's what the CFL is all about. I liked it. And I like the fact that the Riders won and that Calgary won, because now an Eastern team won't cross over to the West. It'll never happen again. The chances of it happening just got a whole lot slimmer, I'll say.
Yes.
And
but
but that fight for third is still on.
And to me, like we might talk shit about the Smurf Mafia and their dynasty, but the battle for first place in the West is going to be super, super fun because Winnipeg now has the tiebreaker because they scored more points.
Well, unless we beat them October 6th. When we beat them October 6th, they won't have the tiebreaker because it can't be a tie. Because we all have October 6th. Yes.
We have to beat them on October 6th.
It's literally a must-win game for us.
Not just that, but we also have to make sure we're beating other teams.
Well, that's why we have to come out mad.
And we have to hope that Winnipeg either, like ideal world, Winnipeg slips. And that game is
Winnipeg does. Because right now we're tied.
They're in first.
Only because of point differential. We beat Winnipeg on October 6th. We could both lose. We could both win. Let's say we both win every game until October 6th.
Yeah.
We beat them on October 6th. We're in first.
But so it does matter. Yeah, but
it
still matters what Winnipeg does because we have to make sure we match them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right, match or beat them.
It doesn't matter what Winnipeg does. We have to win.
Yeah, really. Like we went.
It comes down to we don't play Toronto anymore, which I find really weird. I like it, but I find it really weird.
Don't
that
ask questions. Don't
in
ask
a
questions.
in a 9-team league that we don't play every team twice when we're playing 18 games.
Again, that leaves, just for those who need this, you could have 2 games against each team, a home and home against each team, and then you have that's 16 games, and so you have 3 games where you can play against, let's see, your interdivision rivals once each against, and you swap those. So one year you play Calgary at home twice, and you play Calgary at away twice. Like, it's not rocket science.
You and I could figure this out, but
again, throwing in concerts and all sorts of different things like that, there's going to be all sorts of different things that
for
mess up the
sure.
schedule.
But when you're doing it to save travel, and that's the only reason it's done, is to save travel for the league. If the league is in that dire of a fucking situation, we're in bigger shit than we think we are. Moving on.
Do you have anything else to talk about with the Red Blacks and Riders?
No, it was a fun game. I enjoyed it.
Literally, that's why I wrote it's fun game, but what does it mean? Like, it means there's less likelihood of a crossover, but
we actually ended up turning it off. But we were watching that movie, The Blue People, Way of the Water, Way of the Water.
Way of the Water, I think, is what you were watching.
Yeah. And I had it up, but I had the game on my phone, so I was watching the TV.
You're keeping yourself entertained while watching a movie.
Yeah, basically. I was
Yeah, fair. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time that everyone loves and many people hate.
It's here, folks. It's here. Hold it before you do that.
Yep.
Where can people go to find your power rankings after the show?
You guys can find the power rankings. Well, probably won't be posted until tomorrow because I have to do a little write-up on it still, and I haven't done that. Today was my day off. I took it very seriously that today was my day off.
Nice.
So I did all this in the morning, and I took the day off. There will be a write-up at some point this week, probably tomorrow, at hughsports.ca, where you'll be able to see my power rankings. The old man will do a week in review and a week recap and a look ahead to next season.
I was supposed to do that today, but then I got playing poker online and didn't.
Well, it's a holiday here. We're not working today, so it's fine. Yeah. Things might be a day shifted. It's fine. You guys will deal with it. HughesSports.ca is where you'll find it. You can always check us out on Facebook, X, Twitter, all those places. We'll be able to get you all sorts of information. Eventually, one day, when Threads figures out that businesses also want to be on Threads and you want to be able to have multiple accounts that you can swap between, we'll be on Threads too. But until that happens, Twitter is still going to win. I'm sorry, folks. But let's jump into the power rankings.
Power rankings. Jake's power rankings. Power rankings. Jake's power rankings. Okay.
I think next week, maybe tonight, because I still have a lot of energy, I might take that little snippet there and turn it into like a little song that I can play right before going into this.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You got to put music behind it, though.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 9th spot, might be a shocker to everyone. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. You're not allowed to wear a paper bag to their stadium, but you are in 9th place, the Edmonton Elks.
No surprise, right? I mean, come on. My question is, are they going to win a game?
I mean, hey, Calgary or an Alberta team won at home this year, so it only took 9 weeks, but an Alberta team finally won at home.
We won at home. Oh, an Alberta team, right? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Calgary had never won at home until this week.
That's true.
In 8th place.
These are the interesting ones for me because I don't know what Jake's up to.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats moving down a spot after another disappointing loss. The team just isn't what they hoped it was going to be hosting the Grey Cup.
Nope.
Number 7. The Ottawa Red Blacks. Losing a game. Although it was close.
Still lost.
They still lost, and has some pretty significant playoff implications because both of Hamilton and Ottawa losing to Calgary and Saskatchewan almost but surely eliminates the crossover.
Hey, I can sing. Go ahead.
Who said you couldn't?
Somebody.
In 6th spot, we have the Saskatchewan Roughriders staying pat this week. They got the win I have a hard time putting them ahead of the 5 teams that are ahead of them. Because in 5th spot, we have the Montreal Alouettes, who have actually moved down a spot this week.
Didn't they win?
They did win.
And you moved them down.
I moved them down.
That's weird.
Because, again, and I said it before, teams got to put some respect on 4th place team here. Because no other team has done what they've done. And until they prove it, the Calgary Stampeders moving up 4 spots this week.
Oh, you're so incredibly wrong. How can you move them up 4 spots when all they did was beat a team with no quarterback?
Because they have done what no other team in the CFL has done in 2023.
And once again, folks, people are going to lose their mind at Jake's power rankings.
Oh, just you wait, old man. Just you wait. Because I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off right here.
No.
And people are going to be so mad. I'm going to reveal
you gotta explain how you even come to this.
I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off for all top 3 teams. In 3, 2, 1. We have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 3rd, the BC Lions in 2nd, and the Toronto Argonauts still in 1st. Now, Smurf Mafia, you might be reacting like the old man is. How? Well, let's face it. You beat a 3rd-string quarterback. Calgary beat a 2nd-string quarterback. Yes, you tore apart the defense. However, let's not forget, this defense was the same defense that a mere few weeks ago held you to not score a touchdown.
And they figured that out and kicked our ass. Our asses, man. Our ass.
Our 3rd-string quarterback was able to put up 2 touchdowns on this team. 14 points.
1 touchdown.
1 touchdown, 14 points.
But you said 2 touchdowns.
Did 2 touchdowns worth of points. BC Lions, in my opinion, are still better than the Blue Bombers when both teams are fully healthy.
That I don't disagree with. Problem is, BC Lions are not healthy, and this is called the power rankings, not the standings, but the power rankings.
Correct.
And right now, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are super healthy and deserve to be in 2nd place, and BC deserves to be in 3rd. But my opinion.
That's the standings. The standings would show that. Correct. The power rankings take into effect a lot of different things. Like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were beat by, let's scroll down here, the Ottawa Red Blacks. They barely beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And you're telling me they should be up here? Hell, CFL thinks the Blue Bombers should be where the Argonauts are. Because the Argonauts lost.
I think somebody was spoken something on the when they put that out on the CFL.
So,
but we know the CFL can't read stats because they have none.
So let's just look this through as a whole here. And I want your arguments here, old man, because I truly cannot.
Just because BC got their asses kicked by Winnipeg this week, I think these two, you can't see my arrow. 3 and 2 should be switched, and there's no way in hell. Read my lips. Hell that Calgary jumps up 4 spots for beating, because that's saying, I mean, you're using logic on one way and then you're reversing it on the other.
Oh, but I'm not. I'm not. No, I'm not. Because there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between your 2nd string, who you expect to get some reps in through the year, and your 3rd string quarterback, who you put out there for short yardage plays. Huge difference.
Did we not start our 2nd string?
Yes. So we started our 2nd string.
And he did nothing.
And I believe he was injured before the first quarter.
Sacked like 25,000 times in the first 5 minutes.
Got injured. And then Dominique Davis went in. So, yeah, the Blue Bombers can be really proud. They beat a 3rd string quarterback. Ooh, let's go.
I don't usually disagree this adamantly with you on your power rank, because I've been like, okay, I'll switch these two. This one, you're so way out of whack. You're so way out of whack. Like wacko.
So where do you put the... Okay, so in your power rankings that you don't do...
Toronto, Winnipeg, BC, Montreal, then Calgary, then Saskatchewan.
Okay, so you only have issues with Calgary being swapped with Montreal and BC
Montreal
being swapped
won.
with
You
Bombers.
can't drop them down. How can
Yes,
you
you
drop
can.
them down? They won. They won. How
So
do they lose a spot if they won?
So then, based off of that logic, Toronto goes down. Winnipeg
No,
goes
because
up.
Toronto's
Yeah, that's
still the
you're
powerhouse
using
of
this
the
TF.
team.
You're 1 second. 1 second. We need to. You're using the logic that the CFL used for their power rankings. Well,
No,
I mean
I'm
BC and Toronto lost, so they have to move down.
No. You're not listening to me, but it's okay. I disagree with you.
For sure.
No, I'm good. I said my piece. You have to be able to take a lot of heat this week, my friend.
You know what? I sure
They're
can.
going to come at you so hard and so fast that you're going to be going.
Please do.
Okay? I mean, I don't care about the Smurf Mafia, to be honest. It's everybody else.
That's fine. And you know what? I can have civilized discussions with most other...
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can. I have very civilized discussions on Facebook. Way more civilized discussions than you do. What?
Not with Bomber fans. You can't.
No, I said with other fans. You don't.
Oh yes, with other fans.
With other fans.
With Bomber fans, I just don't have the time.
No, they'd be like, Bomber not first. Why Bomber not first? Bomber with the dynasty. Dynasty.
We put hit out on you. We're the Mafia, you know. We put hit on Jake. Jake, go hit. Bad Jake. Oh, he's over there. Anyway,
however, next week
we have
these Bombers. Something we need to get into again with the scheduling. Did the Bombers just pay a bunch of money so that they would have the easiest schedule possible? The Bombers start off the week, another Thursday night game for them. So another full week in between games. They're able to rest and relax. Sure, it's also against the Elks. So, I mean, you could put this on a Saturday. It wouldn't matter. It's a bye. Wouldn't
it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if this is the one the Elks win at home? Would we not have just the most fun?
Bombers go into Edmonton August 10th at 6 p.m.
I'm going to put $5 on the Edmonton team.
Where Jarius Jackson has now had a full week.
Yes.
To put in his game plan. With
and
a quarterback. With Trey Ford, who's an actual good starting quarterback. With receivers who could play if the ball was thrown to him. And all I'm saying is you mentioned that you always have the upset of the week.
That's the upset of the week.
Because they're sitting high and mighty on their dynasty seat now. So
pick them. I'm still taking the Bombers.
Pick them. I'm taking the Bombers. Give me the points, and I'm taking the Elks.
Yes, I'm going to put $5 on the Elks just for the fun of it.
Then we go into the Riders. The Saskatchewan Riders going into Montreal at 4:30 p.m. on the Saturday.
No, Friday.
Friday,
isn't it? This will be the game of the week.
This very well has the potential to be the game of the week. Because both of them are fighting to stay in playoff contention.
And Fajardo, Cody, is going to have a burn a saddle. He's going to want to prove everybody in that Riders executive organization that they were wrong, and he is an elite quarterback.
I think the fire would be even bigger if this was in Saskatchewan rather than in Montreal.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I definitely agree. The fire is going to be there, and I'm looking first or second play from Fajardo to be a bomb.
Or he'll take it himself and run it.
Yep.
Just run it down their throat.
Yep.
And I'll be watching this one, like, for sure.
I'm going to take... Who are you taking in this game?
I'm going to take the Owls.
I'm going to take the Riders.
Are you?
I don't know why. I have that feeling of just like you said with Fajardo coming out and just putting the team on his back and his anger towards the Riders could show through.
I see what you're saying. Yep.
And then we have a game that could really set how well the Lions are to be in the future.
Well, this will be the game for the Lions, even though it's. I'm gonna say, I hate doing this, but it's almost.
Don't say it. It's not. It's not a win.
Well, because if you don't win this, if you come out flat and you don't win, you're now 6-3.
Yep.
And Calgary is what, 5-4?
Yep. Again, I'm not saying I'm not able. You can't put a must-win label on this because it's not a must-win game or you're out.
No. It's a must-win to keep this momentum that the Lions have had and to keep the crowd in the game.
Well, and it's to keep the top two and the bottom two in the playoff contention. Exactly. If you lose this, it's now a 4-team race. Well, 3-team race for 2 playoff positions.
It is.
The Smurf Mafia is right.
Can you imagine?
I'm taking the Lions.
Oh,
but that's because I'm a homer.
I'm a homer.
I wish this game was in Calgary because we only get one game in Calgary this year. But should be a super fun game. Then we go to the last game, the Red Blacks taking on the Argos in Toronto, which is always a heated rivalry game. Big question is, and I haven't seen anything, and I don't know if you have, is Chad Kelly going to play this game?
I haven't seen. I haven't, and it's because I had such a busy weekend because we had my daughter Amanda and her family down for the weekend with their new baby, so we didn't really get much time to really look at anything. So I haven't been paying attention. I will have to take a look and see, because if not, does Ottawa stand a chance? Yeah. That's a coin. If it's Dukes, it's a coin flip.
I don't even think it's a coin flip if it's Dukes. I think Ottawa has the advantage.
Yeah.
That's how poor I saw from what I saw of Dukes.
Who knows? Maybe they can adjust the play calling and adjust the game for Dukes. Because I mean, when you go in, you have your game set. Your play set's ready. And you can't change that by putting in a different quarterback.
But it's tougher. But from my understanding, you have your play sets for team 1, which would be Kelly. You've got your play sets for QB2.
Yes.
So you have to. Don't get me wrong; they're not as practiced and polished, but I don't think it was practice and polish that was needed. It was confidence and just
experience.
Yeah.
He was overwhelmed.
The first year
he was just overwhelmed.
And Calgary came out because they needed to win that, or I wouldn't say needed, but they wanted to win that game to keep themselves running.
It wasn't a must win, but they better had won, or else people's jobs were on the line.
Well, with Kelly being out, if they had lost this game and Kelly was in, they would have just been like, okay, cool. Kelly going out really made that difference.
I don't think so. I think lots of changes would have been made if they didn't make a good showing.
I don't think the Argos game. I think this next game would have been that game if they didn't get the win against the Argos.
Yeah,
because Calgary has to be looking at BC as that's the team we need to beat to make it to the Grey Cup.
You saw that bench. If you saw that bench on Saturday night, the Calgary bench, and again, I'm only 5 rows up behind the bench. They were one excited group.
I mean, they've done something no other team in 2023 has done.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was
and it wasn't a single pointer through the end zone at the last second. It was a 2-touchdown game.
Which reminds me, let's go back to that Saskatchewan game.
Yes,
they were. I know we're way overtime again, but you triggered something in my mind, so I'm going to run with it. Yes. Riders were 3rd and 1.
Yep.
At the 1. So 3rd and goal. And they kicked a field goal.
How much time left in the game? I mean, to me, that's
minute 15 seconds.
It doesn't matter to me. You run that. Like,
I was shocked when they lined up for a field goal. I was like, maybe they're trying to pull them offside.
I would say if they had a timeout, that you try a hard count.
But you don't.
But you wouldn't do that as a field goal. No, right? You wouldn't have done that with a field goal. You go in, you line up under, and you go like You're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to do that. You have to
Quarterback
make noise.
can. Quarterback can nod their head.
Quarterback can nod their head, but cannot make any forward motion.
No, you can go like this.
Yeah, but he'll usually has to verbalize it as well.
Yes. But I just thought that was a weird call. Another weird call by Dickinson. I've seen it, and that's the other Dickinson. I've seen it numerous times this year that I'm just kind of scratching my head going, what is he doing? Anyway, that was
something I want to talk about as well. We can talk about next week if it keeps up. But Craig Dickinson is getting a lot of heats for some of his play. And I don't blame them.
But you know what? I think any coach, you could have Wally Buono in his prime, not the old washed up Wally Buono that we were like, okay, Wally, we love you, but it's time for you to go. In his prime, and they would have bitched, and they would be 10-0, and they'd still be bitching about play calls by Wally.
Yep, 100%. But that's Saskatchewan. However, yeah. I think it's beyond just a Saskatchewan fan base. It's even CFL fans like you and I who are like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? And when you put Dickinson versus Dickinson, it just gets even worse because I feel like they feed off of the brainwaves of stupidity.
Stamps did something stupid in their game.
Not surprising.
They have the best field goal kicker. It's 3rd and 2 and a half. I forget how much time was left. It was in the fourth quarter. And they went for it. Yeah. When they lined up, I thought, oh, they're going to try to hard count it and draw them offside. And then they snapped the ball. And you know, the guy sitting in front of us, the older guy that sits in front of us, he looked back at me like, it was just one of those, what the they got it. I mean, they converted it, but
how much of that is, well, let's try it.
But
depending on where you're at on the field and the game situation, so many variables matter.
But you kick a field goal in that position, and you're up by 3 scores, I think it was.
But
so
again,
it was just one of those weird calls, but it didn't really mean anything.
But it was just one of those weird things.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Well, unless you have anything else.
No.
That has been the Hughes Sports Podcast for the week of August 7th. I want to thank you all for coming to hang out. We did have a few of you in the YouTube room there.
Yeah, it was fun. I love when people chat in the YouTube.
And I was going to say, and there was conversation going back and forth between chatters as well, which I always like to see. Yeah. If you guys like what we do here, again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your friends. Because, I mean, there's not a lot of podcasts out there that talk the week through in the CFL every single week like we do, who have controversial opinions and aren't afraid to fight each other on air about power rankings and decision makings. And
well, as I say, you're allowed to be wrong.
I mean, I'm always right, so how can I be wrong if I'm always right? Please do, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google, anywhere else, subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Give us a little review. There are on Spotify. You can ask us questions about whatever you heard here today, because we are here to help you guys. You guys help us make the show better. If there's something you guys want us to talk about more, tell us. Keep your eyes peeled to socials because we have a bunch of new things. One big new thing coming at the end of this month that I'm super, super excited for. So, yeah, you can find me on Threads, Instagram, or TikTok, and everywhere. Jay Streams here, JEHSTREAMS. See me on twitch.tv/JStreams here every Tuesday and potentially Wednesdays. And the old man, where can they find you?
Cavelli Channeling, and I'm going to plug it because tomorrow night we have I'm bringing back Cavelli Channeling Presents. If you're into that spiritual mindset and you want to hear from others that have gone through a lot of the same things you're going through, tune in because I literally interview people about their experiences, spiritual experiences, etc. And we have a huge announcement coming up tomorrow that I'm super, super excited for. So if you want to, you can tune in on Facebook at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Pacific, or you can go to YouTube, Cavelli Channeling. It's very cool. We're going to be interviewing Alana King Scott tomorrow, so it should be fun.
Perfect. I was going to say, make sure you plug that.
Did we ever figure out how I come up with an ending for this show? Because
No,
we always
no, we
kinda
talked,
just talk, and we're like,
and
how
then
do we end
all of
this?
a sudden I'm like, "Hey, bye," and we end the stream. No, we came
Okay.
up with no ending.
How about I
You
throw
can't.
something at my screen?
But that's stealing other people's bits. You can't be
Okay.
stealing other people's bits. You got to come up unique. It's got to be organic. You can't
How
manufacture.
about if I just
the beauty.
stand up and walk out?
Well, I mean,